Hello, welcome. Dr. Sushma Singh this side. Today in Unit 24, Dimensions of Knowledge Society, Issues of Access and Equity. We are going to start our lecture with the topic Knowledge Economy and Knowledge Workers in Knowledge Society. In knowledge economy, economic wealth is predominantly produced by using knowledge. Indeed, it is an emerging society whose economic base is widely shaped by the processes of generation, dissemination, and exploitation of knowledge. The neoclassical economists have emphasized labor and capital as key factors of development. To Paul Romer, knowledge is the third factor of production, and for long-term growth, it is the basic form of capital, and economic growth is driven by its accumulation. Here we sum up the following features of the knowledge economy. In knowledge economy, knowledge is a public good as this becomes the object of wide use. As the knowledge economy is dependent on generation of knowledge for its prosperity, here knowledge gained by experience is as important as formal education and training. A knowledge economy is to become a learning economy in order to utilize its full capacity and to take its optimum advantage. Learning means not only using new technologies to access global knowledge, but also using them to communicate with others about innovation. In the learning economy, individuals, firms, and countries will be able to create wealth in proportion to their capacity to learn and share innovations. Formal education, too, needs to become less about passing on information and focus more on leading people to learning. Learning thus becomes a lifelong process in the knowledge economy. According to OECD, ICTs are the facilitation of knowledge creation. In the knowledge economy, ICT are the tools for releasing the creative potential and knowledge embodied in people. Wealth generation is becoming more closely tied to the capacity to add value using ICT products and services. Mondal highlights in a study that each job at Microsoft created 6.7 million new jobs in Washington state, whereas a job at Boeing created 3.8 million jobs. In the information age, individuals are put at center of the knowledge and skills-based society. More than even before, individuals want to master their own lives and expect to contribute to economy and society. The development of individuals as active citizens of society is increasingly given a central place in statements of learning, education, and training objectives. The individual is becoming the architect and builder responsible for developing his or her own skills, supported by public and enterprise investment in lifelong learning. ICT are empowering the individual from a passive teacher-oriented approach to gaining knowledge. There is a shift towards learning for life and work centered around the individual. The need to learn how to access, analyze, and exploit information and transform it to new knowledge is increasing, and in particular, the internet based technologies offer great opportunities. The empowered individuals or the knowledge workers take charge of all spheres of society. Knowledge workers of the knowledge society are distinctly different from those of the agrarian and industrial society workers. They are defined as symbiotic analysts who manipulates symbols rather than machines. They include architects and bank workers, fashion designers and pharmaceutical researchers, teachers and policy analysts. They are associated primarily in service sectors such as telecommunication, transport and financial services. Knowledge workers systematically accumulate knowledge, share it, and deploy it purposefully. Continuously improving the stock of knowledge will be critical for their success. In the knowledge society, the knowledge workers are valued very high. For example, in many of the American manufacturing companies, the intangible assets are now worth more than the tangible assets. These intangible or intellectual assets are based primarily on the skills and capabilities of their so-called knowledge workers. The distinctive feature of the knowledge workers are noted here. The knowledge workers are leading class of the knowledge society and necessarily the ruling class. They differ fundamentally from the other groups in history who occupied the leading dominant position in values, expectations, and social position. They get access to work and social position in the knowledge society through formal education and training. Quantity and quality of knowledge work will differ substantially based on the amount and the kind of formal knowledge and training required for a particular job. A formal education occupies the center stage of the knowledge society. Formal schooling emerges to be the key institution. Here the components of knowledge, quality of learning and teaching not only become central concerns of knowledge society but also central political issues. In fact, it may not fanciful to anticipate that the equation of distribution of formal knowledge will become to occupy the place in the politics of the knowledge society which acquisition and distribution of property and income have occupied in the age of capitalism. It is significant that it is not necessarily the conventional system of schooling but the systematic continuing education offered in the place of employment that would get importance. Here, an educated person will be someone who has learnt how to learn and throughout his or her lifetime continues to learn, especially in and out of formal education. Thus, acquisition of knowledge is not age specific but lifelong. The knowledge workers work in terms and work as employees in an organization. They are to learn different kinds of terms for different purposes. Their performance, capacities, strengths, limitations, and trade-offs between various kinds of terms. They are also to learn how to switch from one kind of team to another and to integrate oneself into a team. Organizations in general provide the platform to the knowledge workers to convert their specialized knowledge into performance. In the organization, the knowledge workers are at times the employee and at times the bosses. The knowledge workers also own the tools of production, unlike as in the capitalist society. True investment in the knowledge society is the knowledge of the knowledge workers. Without knowledge, whole production process is unproductive. It is the knowledge investment that determines whether the employee is productive or not, rather than the tools, machines, and capitals that the organization furnishes. Now let us come to the point, the three levels of knowledge-based developments. As we have seen in the foregoing discussion, in the information age, knowledge has broader meaning. In the past also, clever and creative people always used knowledge to design innovative products and services. But in the information age, instead of knowledge being vested in one or two creative people, it will be embedded in systems and databases and made available to all. Here, to achieve maximum effectiveness, knowledge must be systematically accumulated, shared, and purposefully deployed. That means a knowledge-based society is centered on the three processes of knowledge accumulation, knowledge dissemination of the accumulated knowledge, and application of that knowledge for the productivity of the society. An analysis of this process of knowledge accumulation, dissemination, and deployment in terms of skills, infrastructure, and experience in knowledge production will enable us to assess the dimensions of knowledge society and economy. It is required to take stock of the literacy and higher education level to examine the skills for knowledge accumulation. The size and growth of tele and other communication networks will echo the infrastructure requirement for knowledge dissemination, and the economic structure will reflect the level of application of knowledge in the knowledge-based society. And in the following sections, let us examine each of these separately. Here we want to close this lecture. Thanks for listening.